Hi, I'm David Davis from ActualTech Media. We're here live from VMworld, and I'm excited to be joined by Mr. Yoni Avital. He's the CTO and co-founder of ControlUP. How you doing?
Hey, great. Nice to meet you, David.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for being on. So, I've just been learning about ControlUP. It's brand new to me. I mean, I was a virtualization admin, worked with a lot of different performance monitoring tools over the years, and I've been really impressed with what you've been showing me, from ControlUP. So, first, why don't you just start off by telling us who is ControlUP as a company?
Sure. So, thanks, David. So, the story behind ControlUP is quite interesting, I think, actually. So, we're two co-founders, Asaf and myself, and for a long time, we have been ourselves like virtualization experts working with large enterprises. So doing virtualization projects, VDI, basically enabling these customers to deploy their data centers in an optimized fashion. And over time, we found quite a few gaps with especially with the existing performance management and visualization and real-time visibility features from the major vendors. Again, whether it's VMware or Microsoft or Citrix for that matter.
Right.
And we did something which has become, I guess, more common in last years and years, just to say, okay, let's fix it ourselves. Let's form our own company.
Yeah.
Let's write our own product, and let's close the gaps. And we had a good feeling that customers will go with that. So that's how ControlUP was formed. We basically founded the company back in 2010. And in 2012, we had our first V1 ControlUP version available for the audience.
Awesome. I love to hear a story about how you were a virtualization practitioner, essentially. You saw a problem, and you said, hey, I want to do something about it. And you created a real product that companies are using now around the world to solve these problems.
I can tell you that the biggest compliment I hear from customers is that when someone is using it or during a POC is saying, you know what, I can tell that the guys who planned or wrote this product are guys who actually sat in my chair and managed the virtual environment. That's the biggest compliment.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. We're going to have a live demo, by the way, for everyone out there in just a second. But first, why don't you just tell us, so how do you define ControlUP, what it does?
Okay, so actually we have a quick slide here that kind of cover an overview of what we're doing with ControlUP. So we're doing a few things, right? But in the end, our aim is to make the lives of the IT ops easier, whether it's by quickly troubleshooting performance issues, whether it's by analyzing the app usage pattern, by optimizing end user computing environments, or managing public cloud workloads. We provide a continuous real-time view for the entire IT compute stack. Okay, so we support all the on-prem traditional workloads, whether it's a VMware vSphere, obviously for virtual servers or desktops, Microsoft Hyper-V, and the Citrix hypervisors. And we also support the public cloud workloads. We just recently in V7, we added EC2 integration based on Amazon APIs. So we now have full visibility to any EC2 instance running in your data center. In addition to that, we have our own agent running inside the guest OS.
Okay.
Which enables us to give a very intuitive and continuous grid-based view all the way from the host or VM level into specific guest OS processes, which makes troubleshooting much easier. Besides, giving these customers excellent visibility, we also provide remediation actions from the same UI. And this is a crucial differentiation from a lot of the great tools you see out there, whether it's VROps or System Center or the Microsoft or Citrix tools. We also provide built-in real-time remediation and troubleshooting actions. So it's just not, you can, beyond seeing the culprit or analyzing the root cause, you can actually act upon that and fix the issue.
And that's really powerful. I mean,
and
it's not just remediation around a virtual machine, let's say, increase the RAM or something. This is remediation, I mean, it does do that, but this is remediation inside the guest operating system as well to take action.
Exactly. So we provide both contextual action from the host or VM layer, but also we engage your agent when you need to do something inside that, whether it's to terminate a process or restore the service or run some more complex script inside that.
And I love that it's not just a VMware vSphere product. This is for AWS workloads as well. This is for other hypervisors as well. So you have a lot of flexibility in terms of what you support. So let's talk a little bit about some of the use cases. You mentioned VDI, you mentioned public cloud, and I know you have some really cool crowdsourcing kind of analytics type stuff that you want to show us. So why don't we just jump into the demo? And because I know the audience loves to see how the product really works in action. I'm kind of a visual guy. I want to see it.
Okay, great. That's we love to show it, so we're on the same page. So just before showing you the actual product, the final module I haven't mentioned is the analytics module.
Okay.
It's web-based. It's providing both traditional historical reports and trends over time, but it also provides some really unique analytics services, and we'll cover them in a sec. So we basically have two offerings for the customers. Both of them are, make the entire ControlUP suite. Okay, so the first one would be ControlUP Insights. That's the analytics platform. That's where we can provide the customer with both historical reports and trends and some unique insights into their environment. And I'll cover that in a sec. The second offering is our own .NET-based real-time console. Okay, so this is running on the sysadmin or the IDOps endpoint or on the management server. And this will provide you with real-time visibility across the entire stack. Okay, so you can see here on the left side, this is all the managed resources we're connecting to, whether it's a vSphere API or Amazon EC2 API connection or VDI connections or the actual workloads. So this is where we actually deploy our own agent, whether it's web servers or VDI environments like Horizon View or whatnot. Now,
and when you say workloads, you know those specific applications based on the processes that are really running, right?
Oh yeah, we can identify whether it's a VDI workload or web server or whatnot.
You know if it's an antivirus client that's eating up all the bandwidth or the I/O, based on the process.
Yeah, that's something common, I'm afraid, and we actually have a good use case for that.
Okay.
So I do want to start with a quick example that I think will interest most of the VMware guys out there. So this is the host view, right? Here we can see in live all of our hosts, whether it's ESXi or additional vendors. And for each host, we'll show in real time the metrics for CPU, I/O, metadata, and etc. Now, in V7, we also added the same kind of visibility, but for the data store object. And that's what I'm kind of highlighting here. You can see we found these 9 data stores, whether they're NFS or block-based or local. And for each and every data store, we show some metadata facts like the capacity and type, but also real-time I/O usage and latency. Now, just to show you how quickly and easily it is to find an issue with ControlUP and fix it, we have this example here. So we have one data store which is currently really high on I/O. Okay, and using ControlUP, you can drill down, and initially ControlUP will show you how each and every host in your environment is currently pounding or using this data store. And it's quite apparent that ESX01 is obviously the one ESXi dude causing the issue, right? The second drill down will take us to the actual list of each and every VMDK or virtual disk running inside this ESXi data store combination.
Oh, nice.
Thanks. And for each vdisk, again, we have metadata and metrics. So it's quite easy to see, again, we can sort based on any column, whether it's latency or usage, and you can quickly see that we have one VMDK consuming all the IOPS here. Now, you're probably thinking this is great, but this is data we have in vSphere. Maybe it's not organized as nicely as this, but it's there.
Right.
And you're right, but again, the grid-based approach is critical. And here's the kicker, right? We have our own agent running inside this VM, which enables the customer to actually drill down from here intuitively directly into the guest OS processes running inside this VM here.
Yeah, that's really powerful because that's what's missing with so many monitoring tools.
Oh yeah, I agree, obviously. And that's not all, right? So we can see the processes running and we can see the culprit here. It's basically DynamoEXE. And those of you out there who are keen enough can see that it's actually the engine behind IOmeter. So we're using IOmeter to create a stress, obviously, to show this example.
Right.
But we go beyond that, right? We enable the customers to actually select a bunch of processes or just the one culprit here and execute actions.
Okay.
And this could be either to get more data, like running a script to get additional verbose logging, sorry, or whatnot, or
right.
in this case, you realize that this is not a business critical app. This is just maybe some storage admin who is, really excited to test the new storage, but he's affecting users, so we can go ahead and terminate the process from here.
Very nice.
Yeah, thanks. So that's like an interesting use case for, I guess, for VMware type of environments. Now, I do want to show another use case in the real-time console before we show off some of our analytics features. So we spoke also about VDI, and I think it's pretty evident that end user computing is becoming more relevant for VMware, whether it's the Horizon View suite or Workspace ONE. So ControlUP has excellent features for VDI environments. Let me show you like one quick thing, something which is plaguing Windows environments forever. So the sessions view will show each and every session running in your VDI, physical, or Citrix-based environments. Now, we will provide metrics for each session, which includes, I'll show you a few examples here. So we can show the login duration, so how long it took to actually open a desktop or an app. We can show the app load time, so how long it actually takes to launch apps inside the desktop.
That's very powerful for VDI. I mean, because to me, that's the real end user's experience. Because in so many instances, you have an end user who says, my VDI session, my desktop's slow today. And the admin says, well, I'm looking at the CPU and memory and disk and everything looks good. It must be you, right?
That's what you're saying right now. This is a crucial point because for the longest time, admins and NOC teams, they were looking on metrics.
Yes.
And from their point of view, if CPU is low, IO latency is fine, then why are you calling me? It's all good. But the user, from his perspective, is now launching Excel. It's taking 50 seconds to launch it, and then it's sluggish when it's up.
Yes.
So we are trying to bridge the gap here, and we provide both the footprint, right, the performance, but also the end user point of things, right? Whether it's login duration or how long it takes to launch app, or also the remoting protocol, bandwidth usage, and latency. And if you take the latency and the login duration, the upload time, and you look on all of these, you know what is the end user experience.
Yeah, and that's the most important measurement. I mean, the perspective of the end users, and there's been a long time disconnection, between that. Whether it's, we made a tweak on our storage, or we're trying out a new flash array, or whatever. We're doing things to improve
and you want to
performance.
See how it's actually affecting
but you want to see how it really helps the users, because that's what's most important.
So that's where the analytics will kick in a sec. But just one last example in the real-time console. So we mentioned, our ability to execute scripts before that. So just want to show you one nice example. So like here we have a user who is suffering from a pretty slow logon, like 70 seconds. If you scroll all the way, we can actually break down the logon duration to like additional phases, right? You can see here that group policy was the major culprit in this case. Now this is great data, and you can go to your AD team or whatnot, but we say, wait a minute, we can provide more data. So you can actually right-click the user, and let me search here for GPO-related stuff. And one of the features we have in the product is to analyze and run scripts against VMs, hosts, or sessions. And one of the scripts we added here is to analyze the group policy launch time inside sessions. So this nice script will show us, let me expand the screen here. So I'll focus on this. Okay, so you can see here that we actually show the customer which group policy extensions were processed during the login phase, and we show exactly which extension was causing the issue, even to the extent of the GPU name was causing that. So, from a data perspective, we provide anything which makes it super easy to follow up and just fix the actual issue.
Very nice. Yeah, I mean, I've even had end users call me in the morning and say, what did you guys do last night? Everything's so much faster today. And we're like, I have no idea, but I'm glad that you say that kind of thing. But here we have a real measurement of what's fast and what's slow from the end user's perspective, and what processes might be causing those slowdowns to happen. So that's very powerful. So you said you want to talk a little bit about the analytics.
Yeah. So obviously we have the real-time console, and hopefully by now you guys have seen that it's powerful and really feature-rich. Now beyond that, we're basically taking the entire data set you have seen, whether it's host-based metrics or sessions or processes, and everything gets uploaded to an historical database in our cloud service. Okay, by the way, most of our customers are using our cloud-based solution, which means we host the backend, and they're running the data collectors on the console.
Okay.
We have a full-blown on-prem module for banks or government customers who cannot work with the cloud-based service.
Right. I mean, because companies, they need both. They need real time. They need to fix a problem right now, but then they also need historical, for capacity planning and just, analysis of what's going on across the entire data set.
You can't just have one, right? Because if you want to troubleshoot an issue right now, you need real-time data.
Yes.
But if you want to understand if you have a trend over time, which is problematic, or just to compare benchmark results, you have to do it over time. Absolutely. So that's how we kind of combine both solutions. Now, the analytics solution is interesting for the following reasons. So since we host the data in our data center, it enables us to do two unique things for customers. A, we can run our own algorithms and use our own experience to analyze the customer data. We call it the ControlUP Virtual Expert feature. So it's running on a daily basis, and it will show the customer, and we'll see it in a second on screen, it will show the customer KPIs and anomalies we found in data sets, and we'll highlight the main things we think the customer should look at. That's one thing. The other thing is what we're doing, we are anonymizing the metrics from all the customers, and we are creating benchmarks. Like one example we discussed before is the fact that we can take popular apps or agents like McAfee or ERP or whatnot, and we can we can actually calculate the benchmark, the global benchmark, and then we can show the customer if he's deviating from that benchmark on a high scale. And this is unique because maybe from day one you're running a misconfigured app or a version which is problematic, and you will never know that because you're only analyzing your own data set. And only by comparing this to the benchmark you can figure out you have something problematic there.
Yeah. Analytics aren't that powerful unless you have some sort of benchmark to compare them to.
Exactly.
Right. Excellent.
Yeah, so
let's take a look at that.
Yeah. So this is ControlUP Insights. It's fully hosted, a web-based solution. And as I mentioned, it provides customers with the ability to run reports where they can see trends over time or inventory their environment or whatnot. So we have host reports, VM reports, apps, or whatnot. Now, the Top Insights dashboard, this is a new feature we released like 2 months ago. And this is where we highlight both the anomalies and the KPIs for each customer. So, a trivial example could be, this is a widget that shows the host with the highest I/O peaks we found based on the previous 24 hours time frame. Okay, so you can see the data here, and you can always drill down. So this is the drill down. This is how the drill down would look like. This is the actual report showing the host with the high I/O usage. And if you go all the way to the I/O trend, you can see that obviously ES601 had some major I/O issue. This is where we run the I/O meter, by the way, which obviously explained this, but we don't need to guess. We can click on a data point here in Insights, and Insights will actually, initially it will show us which top 5 VMs have caused the issue on that specific host, and then we can actually drill down to the problematic VM, and just like we did in the Realtime console, we can get access to the live process data, or in this case, the historical process data, and see the root cause. So if I drill down, and I will show you the I/O chart for that specific VM causing the issue on the host, I can click on a data point back in time, and now we have a real-time query running against the historical database, finding the top 5 processes inside this specific VM and showing us the issue.
Wow.
So it's the same, in this case, the same, obviously, culprit we have seen in the real-time console.
That's very cool. So you talked about benchmarks and KPIs, and are you saying that these are somehow crowdsourced between all the different customers so that you know, I mean, for example, if someone were to look at a report and see 100 milliseconds of latency, well, is that good, bad? I don't know. But you're saying that Insights is going to tell them.
Oh yeah. That's one of the unique differentiators, and let me show you 2 quick examples. Okay? So one, from the end user computing point of view, you can see here we have a log-on duration widget, which shows the average log-on duration in your own environment. Sorry, but you see this small Earth icon in here. This actually compares your own environment to the global benchmark.
Oh, that's
now,
cool.
Yeah, if you drill down, and we'll cover the drill down in a sec, but if you will go back in here, you can see that we are 80% better than the global benchmark, which is great. Obviously, we have a very fine optimized environment, right? But if, for example, if you would add 65 seconds average login duration, you would see that you're performing poorly against the benchmark. And if you drill down, like I just did here, you can see the actual numbers. So, our average is 4 seconds, and the community is 27 seconds. So that's, I think, one of the first time a customer can actually compare his own KPIs, whether it's EUC or vSphere focus, to his peers.
Yeah, I mean, so many companies pay consultants to come in and do health checks.
Yeah.
Every year you have a VDI consultant, let's say, come in and do a health check, and it's really just his knowledge of these other companies that he's been to kind of tell you, yeah, your VDI performance is good or bad, because you don't really have that sort of benchmark or that knowledge.
You're right on the spot, exactly.
And so you're able to programmatically gather that through your Insights cloud. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and one last example is about the crowdsourced analytics is what we can see here. We are now showing the McAfee agent footprint in our own environment. Now, as I mentioned to you before, we are running some pretty intense scans on a daily basis. Right? I can see here the flow. So each day between like midnight and 8 a.m., we have massive I/O usage. And that's on purpose, right? We are creating this to show this deviation. So the orange line here, this would be the average McAfee footprint on my own environment. Okay. So it's pretty high because I'm configuring some excessive.
And it knows
scan.
that this is McAfee because of the process
because
knowledge
of the process name
that it has. It's not just guessing.
True. Yeah. No, it's based on process names.
Right.
And the cool thing here is that we can compare that, the blue line you're seeing here, which is obviously much lower because this is the global benchmark, which is around 13 IOPS. Right? So McAfee is fine. They're performing fine on a global scale, but when I compare this to my own average, I can immediately see I have an issue. And we have seen this use case at customer sites, which this caused them to do a quick analysis, and they saw that it's misconfigured, or too aggressive, or using a problematic build, and then they can fix the issue. So that's a pretty clever way of using the benchmarks, I guess.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, if someone's watching this, obviously, if they're here at VMworld, they can come by.
Oh, yeah, we have the booth right
check
now.
out your booth.
Yeah.
But if not, if they're watching online, what do you recommend them do? Is there a free trial or something they can try this out for themselves?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So it's super easy, and especially because we're hybrid SaaS, so the backend is hosted. Simply go to ControlUP.com, right? Download the ControlUP console. You can launch it in your own environment, just add the hypervisors or VMs or whatnot. And that's it. You will get automatically a 30 days fully functioning free trial. So try it out. It's easy. It's hopefully you've seen its value, and it's it's free for all, guys.
Excellent tool. Thank you so much, Yoni.
Sure.
Really appreciate your time. For those out there, visit ControlUP.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.